Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. This is my Buy This, Not That Kiko Milano edition. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. In this video, I quickly want to come on here and chat to you about 5 products from Kiko Milano that I think maybe be careful if you were looking into these. Kiko Milano is, of course, one of my favorite brands, so a lot of the products I have in my home by them, I really enjoy. So they're definitely not bad products, but they are things that where I feel like there could be something there. And then, of course, the top 5, the products that I think really truly are standouts in the brand that I would highly recommend you look into if you were looking to buy this brand. So let me get to my sort of top 5, bottom 5 Kiko Milano products. And we're going to start with the things that I would feel like, these could be questionable. So first things first is Kiko mascara. I know a lot of people love Kiko for their mascara. Mascara. I never know how to say this in English. But I always try them. They give them out as freebies very often if you order through the online website. And very often I just don't find them that good. Like the formulas are good, but the brushes with Kiko mascara I just don't like. This is the volume mascara, Kind by Kiko. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be like a brown one. It could very well be. Yes. But here, look at that brush. Like, look at how big it is. And then look at my eye. It doesn't fit. And that's been my issue with every single Kiko mascara I've ever tried. The brushes are too big and clunky to nicely hug my lashes, and it always ends up smudging for that reason. So Kiko, yes, from a formula perspective, I think they're really, really good, but no, from a brush / application perspective, I can never get these to look the way I want them to do. Like I said, I know a lot of people rate Kiko Milano mascara really highly. I'm just not one of those people. Again, I do enjoy quite of the Kiko blushes I've tried, but a lot of my favorite things were like discontinued over time, and their newer things that they're doing aren't necessarily like screaming buy me. It took me quite a lot of time to finally try the Velvet Touch Creamy Stick Blush. I got it in shade 8, and again, this is pretty, but this is described as a mauve on the website. Where's the pinky purple in this? It's like a brown. This is almost like a bronzer for me. So that's another issue I've had with some Kiko products in the past, especially with like blushes and things, especially in their limited edition collections, is that they pull really brown or yellow on my skin. Kiko is made in Italy. They very much sort of, like, I feel like they aim themselves very much at like medium skin types more so than very pale, fair skin like mine. And a lot of the products in the Kiko lineup do have a warm undertone. So if you have warm toned, like medium skin, I think you're going to find a lot of great things in their lineup. But like that blush stick, like I buy a shade and it looks so rosy online and even in store sometimes. I feel like in store they don't sell the same shade ranges as they do in their online shop front, which is why I tend to buy them online, and that's also where I find they have the best stock. I find in stores sometimes things can be out of stock for a long time before they bring them back, and online it's just a little bit easier. Like for instance, I'm going to be showing you something else in a second, and I went to 3 different Kiko stores trying to find that product, and it was still online, and in the stores it was already gone. So there's that. So yeah, Kiko can be really, really warm toned. That blush is sort of like the sort of placeholder for my spiel there. Be very careful if you do shop through Kiko that you do get shades that work for you. I feel they've gotten a little bit better over time. I'm not going to lie, like they're doing better things now than they used to. But especially with their blushes, I feel it very often has this orange or yellow undertone that doesn't always suits me, or it's not what I'm looking for. The next product, you know I love this product. You guys know I absolutely adore my Flawless Fusion bronzer, but they discontinued this shade. Anything actually that comes in this silver packaging is some of my favorite products from Kiko. but this is the Flawless Fusion in shade 1. I did find out that the new shades they're doing, they discontinued these, and then it took a little while for these new shades to come out. Number 8 is pretty close to number 1, so if you were still looking to try this, then shade 8 is closest, I think, from what they're currently doing. Mine looks terrible. I've had to scrape it down. You can see the dent in there. You can tell. I love this thing to pieces, and I'm definitely not going to declutter it. I still love it. But this, for the longest time, has been my perfect wintertime bronzer. It adds a touch of warmth, but without looking muddy and looking orange on me. And I've not from any high-end or drugstore brand ever truly found this shade. So that this exact shade no longer exists. Shade number 8, it does look very similar to this. Like, I think I did a side-by-side with the two shades in a recent Kiko video, and I really couldn't tell the difference. But I do feel that shade 8, when I was reviewing it, is a touch deeper, and it probably doesn't work for me in the wintertime as well as this one does. It's more like a rest of the year shade for me than when I'm truly at my palest. So I'm still rating this very highly, but this product you sadly can no longer get. So that's why it's here in the bottom 5. And then this next product I've hit pan on. So you know I love this. I do not keep using products for such a long time if I have this much of a pan on it. You know I love this. This is the Glow Fusion highlighter in shade 1. I believe it's called Ivory. You can see the dent in there. I love this thing to pieces. I truly, truly rate this. It is one of my favorite highlighters in my entire makeup collection. The reason why this went into the bottom half of this video, though, isn't because this isn't a good product. It's just, it doesn't feel very now. I think this one in particular, I picked it up when I first started trying the brand, and I've been trying Kiko products for like 10 years now. So this thing is old. And I feel like at the time I bought this was like the heyday of the highlighter. You know, the Ofra ones, the Becca ones, the like making it seem like you're highlighted from space kind of thing. That was the vibe. So nobody was going for this. And I feel like a lot of people didn't appreciate this for what it could do. It's very similar in texture to my Hourglass one. So it's more subtle. It's more of like a satiny sheen kind of thing. And I do feel that currently highlighters aren't really a thing. But if you want a highlighter that could still be really pretty, then this can be good. If I didn't have this for such a long time though, I don't think it would interest me anymore now, because this formula, it was something different for me at the time I bought it. And because I like so much the way it looks on me, I keep using it, and that's why I've hit pan on it. But this formulation and the way it feels, I just feel like, especially highlighter, has come such a long way in the past decade that we don't need this formula anymore. It's pretty, like, it does have quite a strong, like, undertone to it. So if that doesn't suit your skin, this may not work. I do like it. It's this more subtle, like, highlighter. It's great for every day. It's why I've used it so much. But the formula just doesn't feel very updated, and they haven't changed this product since I bought it. Like, if I go into store and I swatch it, it's still the same. And we now have things like the Fenty Demi Glow, and I do enjoy like some more like stick and those kind of things. And I do feel that with Kiko, especially their highlighter formulations, feel a little bit outdated. I want them to come out with like a new, really good highlighter. And I know they can do them because I've tried one from a limited edition collection that's like this liquid highlighter that's this really nice ethereal look. So I know they can do them, but I haven't seen them do it as part of their permanent range just yet. So I want Kiko to do an updated highlighter for sure. And those were the first 4 like not so great products. Again, you know I love these. These came out this year. And it's the new Skin Lover range. But the reason why I need to put any Kiko foundation and concealer in the bottom 5 of a video like this is, again, undertones. These happen to work for me really, really well. But I've tried too many Kiko foundations that were too yellow, too orange, too dark, They've only just recently started to do some better shade ranges, but for a very long time, and especially in some of the older lines that they still do, their foundations come in like 8 shades, and their concealers come into 5, and then one of the shades is like a green. Make it make sense. And especially in the deeper end of the spectrum is where they do not really have a lot of options, I have to say. Also, at the palest end of the spectrum, both of these are the lightest shade available in these lines. So if you are lighter than me, you will struggle finding a good Kiko foundation or concealer. I happen to love them. I rate Kiko especially for doing products that feel much more luxurious than they actually are priced at. They are doing really similar things to luxury brands. Like I said, Kiko is an Italian makeup brand. They are made in Italy, and a lot of high-end and luxury makeup that you can buy from places like Sephora, like I said, Hourglass, YSL. This is really similar to the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, I find. But then with like a dewier finish, I like this better for that reason. So compared to brands like that, I think the Luminous Silk is like 60 euros. I'll show you another product in a bit that I know from Hourglass is like 50 euros. And then Kiko does it for like 15 to 20. So that's why from like an affordability perspective, I feel like with Kiko, you get the best performing makeup at this price point, making it more affordable than these more high-end things. If you compare them to drugstore brands, things like Essence and Catrice, or maybe even like a Wet n Wild, they may seem a little bit more expensive. But for instance, I've mentioned this many times before in the past, here in the Netherlands, a brand like L'Oreal is by now more expensive than Kiko is. The last sort of release we got from L'Oreal over here, that was their skin tint, was 25 euros. This foundation retails for 20. And this is a better shade for me. Make it make sense. And I like this formulation better, actually. So for me, with Kiko, I always feel I get luxury makeup, but at a drugstore price point. And that's why I think they are such an excellent brand. But in their complexion products, you can be hard-pressed to find your shade if you do not fall into like a light medium spectrum. Also, if you're cool toned, they don't do too many things. In this line, this is the first time I've really seen them do a good cool tone foundation. This is in the shade 1CR, Cool Rose, and you can see also compared to the concealer, do you see how much more pink tone that foundation is compared to the concealer? So I don't mind concealers that have a slight yellow undertone because I want them to cover things. And very often if your concealer has a slight yellow undertone, it's easier to cover up things like redness and stuff because the yellow will cancel out the red. So that's why with concealers, I do not look necessarily for it being super cool toned. But with my foundation, I need it to match my neck down here. So this foundation is excellent for that. So I do like this combo. They work together really well. I truly rate the formula of both of these. But like I said, until Kiko starts doing like 40 shades of foundation and it's super inclusive and it has all the different undertones, I cannot comfortably put products like this into my top 5, even though I do like these individual products a lot. So that brings us to the top 5, and some of these things you know I love. I've raved about these so many times if you've been with me. If, by the way, you want to see any of these products on my face, if you want to see swatches, etc., I'll make sure to link you to the reviews I have for these products over on the blog. That's where I have all the information for you. So just go to the description box and click the link of the product you're most interested in. That way you can have a look at whether it might be right for you. But yeah, one of the products that is exemplary for me when it comes to what Kiko can do is their Radiant Fusion Powder in shade 01. This is an exact shade, it's a shade dupe, it's a formula dupe for the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Diffused Light. This is so beautiful. I still have a mini of the Hourglass to take with me traveling, but whether I use the Hourglass or I use this, same effect. So what did I do after I used one of these up completely is I repurchased the Kiko because at like the 15 to 17 euro price point this goes for, compared to what the Hourglass full-size product goes for, you know what I'll pick. This is almost like a quarter of the price of an Hourglass powder at this point. So for me, it just makes it super easy to also find this. There is a Kiko store in my town, and this product lasts me a long time. How much product do you get in here? It's 8.5 grams of product. And for me, a product like this, I mean, there's so much product in here that it lasts me like a year and a half to use this up. Like, it takes me a long time to even get a dent into this. And this is one of the reasons why I don't try more powders. I have pretty dry skin. So for me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to be trying out a lot of powders. I don't need much in terms of powder to begin with. So I'm not the best skin type person to ask for powder recommendations. And I mainly like these like finishing powders to add a little bit more oomph to my makeup and to sort of put a couple of things like make it last a little bit longer, like on my under eye or on my forehead, like my T-zone kind of. Like I use it in a very targeted way. I don't use powder all over because that just doesn't work well with my skin. It starts to look patchy and cakey and it doesn't look right. So for me, powders like this are exactly what I need. And to find a product that's like, at this point, like a third, maybe a quarter of the price of the more expensive version of this, and it lasts me just as long, then you know I'm gonna love that product. So this is one of the things I do enjoy with Kiko, and they do have this powder in like 5 different shades, I believe. So I think there's also a translucent version now. I also really enjoy Kiko for lip products. I've tried every single formula that this brand does. I did an entire video with it last January, I think. I haven't updated it since then because these videos take a lot of work and it's a lot of excess product that I then need to get rid of because I cannot simply keep using everything because I won't enjoy all of those formulas for myself, but I do sometimes do this for videos. But these are 2 of my favorites. I wore it again the other day. I was like, yeah, I just need to put this in this video. The Velvet Passion lipsticks. Speaking of dupes, this line of lipstick has so many dupes for the Lisa Eldridge True Velvet lipsticks. It's a similar matte formula that's not like uncomfortable on the lips, but still incredibly long wearing. So I feel like these do the same thing. And I think these lipsticks come in like 45 different shades. So many to choose from. They even do some more interesting things like a green and a blue and a taupe and a black, and they do this in so many different colors. So even if you're looking for something a little bit more edgy, I think it even comes in like a really beautiful eggplant shade. They do really interesting things, but this 312 mauve thing, you guys know I love. This is one of the best cool tone mauves on the market till this day. Still beautiful, and I have a perfect lip liner for it to go with. When it comes to lip liners, I have found that there's only 2 types of lip liner I like. It's the MAC ones and the Kiko ones, and especially these creamy color lip pencils. I just sharpened it the other day, so now it looks really pretty for you again. And this goes beautifully. This is shade 23, goes really well with the mauve lipstick I just showed you. And these, again, very similar to the Lisa Eldridge lip liners that I've also tried and tested out. I have 1 or 2 of those. These have the same creamy formula. They're easy to sharpen. Again, these come in heaps of shades because they go really well with the other Kiko products I already talked about. So Kiko lip liners, I also rate really highly. So if you're looking for a good, like decently priced lip product that's not like super cheap, but still like affordable, like I said, Kiko to me is the brand that has a drugstore price point, but the quality is like luxury brands like Lisa Eldridge, where lipsticks by now are probably like 40 euros or something crazy like that. These lipsticks are like 10 to 12 euros. And the lip liners, I believe, are like $7.99. So to me, that's very affordable. I don't know if that goes for you as well, but I really rate the quality of Kiko products, especially compared to a lot of the products that they're very similar to. Speaking of something that Kiko, I feel, just does better than high-end, eyeshadow sticks. This one I took with me traveling when I went to London last week. This is in shade 20. But I have a bunch of these. I like using them to have a little, like, smudge it along the lash line, and then using a brush or my finger to dab it in, and then a shimmer all over the lid, and you call it a day, and it looks like you've done a lot and you did absolutely nothing. That's what these are great for. They're great in a pinch. They're so easy to pull any look together, and they do loads of really fun shades. They do discontinue a lot of them all the time. So I feel like they really release these with the season. So when you see a shade you like, you may have to pick it up. I believe these are also like around 8 or 9 euros a pop. And they're very similar to the Laura Mercier Caviar sticks. So that's another high-end brand. I don't even own any of those Laura Mercier things anymore because this is like the only thing. Like, I've tried so many eyeshadow sticks from other brands, and the Kiko ones are the ones I keep coming back to. So these I really like. And then, of course, where would we be without the Sculpting Touch Creamy Stick Contour? Love this thing to pieces. This is absolutely beautiful. This is one of the best bronzing sticks I've ever found. It's marketed as a contour, so that means that for someone with warm skin, this is going to be cool tone. But on my cool tone skin, it works so much better as a bronzer. It still has warmth. I cannot use it to contour because I also don't really need to contour because my face shape doesn't allow it. Contour makes things look smaller, and I have a very narrow face. So to contour this narrow of a face, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So that's why I don't contour, but I do use a little bit of bronzer because else this forehead is just this like beacon that shines in the light. Yeah, I have a really big forehead, and I do like to have a little bit of warmth around the perimeter of my face. I just feels it ties things together. My hair tends to be a little bit more warm toned than my actual skin tone is, so I feel like having bronzer around like this area of my face, and especially if my hair is down, I feel that having a bit of bronzer really ties my entire look together, and it just makes it work a little bit better that way. So yeah, the Kiko one, this is shade 200, I believe it's called Hazelnut, is really beautiful. They have come out with different shades in recent years, though. When I picked it up, there were only 2 shades available. I believe they now do 5, so that's a lot better as well. But this is my life hack, and this is actually something that you guys put me on, because a lot of people were saying that I would probably like this from what I've been saying about like the type of bronzers I like. And I've just found that if a brand skews quite warm toned and they release something called a contour, that is then going to be my bronzer shade in that brand. So if you also have pale skin and you have a more cool to neutral undertone and you are struggling to find good bronzers, look into contours because they might actually give you what you need. Finally, in my top 5, something I highly recommend looking into if you look into Kiko is their water shadows. I don't like Kiko eyeshadow palettes, but they do beautiful things, and they usually also have a couple of them every year that they come out with in their limited edition collections. It's like the only thing I truly splurge on in their limited edition collections, because what I have found with Kiko as well is that they sort of rehash a lot of the products that they do in their limited edition collections. They just slap different packaging on it and call it limited edition, and I'm like, but that was in a collection you did last year. Once you start seeing through those kind of like ploys, you're like, oh, I'm not going to buy like all of these different limited editions from Kiko anymore, because it doesn't make a lot of sense. But one of my favorites from the brand is this taupey number. This is number 6. These are really easy one and done shadows. They have a little bit of a sheen to it, as you can see, and they are called water shadows for a reason. Now, I like to use them dry, especially with a finger. I feel you can already intensify it enough. You could even use this with a glitter glue to make the glitter stand out even more. But if you want these to pack even more of a punch, you can wet them. That's why they're called water shadows. These are water activated. Wet your brush, go into like a corner of the pan so you don't ruin the entire eyeshadow, and you can make these super intense and impactful as well. They come in loads of different shades as well, and they like every single one of them is just equally sparkly, and these are just beautiful, beautiful eyeshadows. Again, very underrated, and I haven't seen any brand really do products like this anymore. I feel we got these a lot more like 10 to 15 years ago. So where I feel like the highlighter formula is completely outdated, this one I feel it's not. They did reformulate these a couple of years ago. I still have a couple of like the old style water shadows that I also really like, but those were a little bit satiny. I actually like the extra little bit of sparkle that these has. I'm a bit of a magpie at the end of the day, so this like level of shine I'm very comfortable with, and I like that you can really control the impact that these have just using a brush. Super more like satiny, easy blendable sort of eyeshadow. Use a finger, it's already more impactful. You truly want it to pack a punch, layer it over a glitter glue or apply it wet. I love versatile products like this, and to find it essentially at a drugstore price point, I feel is very rare. I just wanted to show you this as well. This came out this year. This was limited edition in their Lumiverse collection. This is 03 Quantum Violet. And this is the product that I hunted down. So I did go through 3 different Kiko stores to be able to swatch it because they did have a tester, but they didn't have the eyeshadow itself in stock. And it's this like lilac lavender with a gold blue shift. It's really impactful and different, and it's something different for Kiko especially, but we're starting to see multi-chromes now more so at a drugstore price point, so I really feel that that sort of means that multi-chromes aren't that expensive to make anymore, else Kiko wouldn't put these kind of things in their line, I'm sure. But yeah, sometimes these water shadows are like made a little bit more special in their limited edition collections, and then I do go out of my way to buy a product like that. I wanted to place an order from some Kiko Bits anyways, and they had it in stock, and I think there was a discount, so I was like, might as well, so I can test it out and see if it's any different. But it's the water shadow formula I know I love, but then with a bit more of a shift. What's not to love? So thanks so much for watching me today. This video, thumbs up this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more by me. I do make regular videos every single week. And yeah, Kiko is a brand I love creating content with, so you can be sure that I will be trying more of Kiko and going back to my old favorites and showcasing those here on the channel in 2026 as well. So I hope you like to stay tuned for more, and then I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.